there's two people in the elevator. They close it with the gate.
The gloves, the hat.
On, and they just push the buttons for you.
Or like pink hair, like blonde hair, but like they look like they're about to do a music video.
I love the fact they incorporate the elderly and the seniors here.
Hey guys and girls on Japanese, it's your flashy fashion reporter Kathy Cat, and in this year a huge influx of tourists have come into Japan the moment they open the borders. It is wild out here and they have experienced a lot of culture shocks the moment they touch down in this country. So let's find out some of the craziest culture shocks people have here in Japan and ask.
No, not so much. What you see on the TV, what you see in the news, maybe things you read. So yeah, just seeing that and comparing it, I wouldn't say no. It's been a smooth transition.
I would just say, because we're from New York, things are much cleaner. There's a much more respect for etiquette that I appreciate here. So I wouldn't say it's a culture shock, but appreciation.
Yeah, positive culture shock is cool too. Yeah. Anything that we're like, oh, this is different in a good way.
I love the fact they incorporate the elderly and the seniors here. They have the bumper stickers to let you know, don't honk at this car. It's a senior driving it. So that's cool. And just seeing different, interactions with different cultures. We met a guy from Croatia, French. So you see a menagerie of different cultures and people here. So it's awesome.
Since you've been living all your life here, have you ever had communication issues?
No, I have learned Japanese when I was in kindergarten. And my first word, which I learned, was the pig's fart.
Pardon?
The pig's fart. It was the first word I know in Japanese. And since this word, I learned the normal Japanese. And now I can speak Russian, English, and Japanese. But English is so-so.
Okay. So you communicate on your day-to-day in Japanese?
We communicate in Japanese and Russian, like mixed language. It's very useful because my friend also can speak Japanese as Japanese people and Russian as Russian people. So it is very useful to communicate. Like if you don't know one word in Japanese, you can use Russian. And if you don't know the word in Russian, you can use Japanese. It's very easy.
All right. Being from a different country, having grown up in Japan though, how old are you?
I'm 20.
All right, so you've been your entire life in Japan then? Right. So how was that growing up in Japan 20 years ago?
Well, to tell you the truth, when I was a child, I have many ijime. How to say ijime in English?
You were bullied a lot?
Yeah, I have many bullying. Like they say to me to go to your homeland, like you're like golden hair, you're ugly, I see many foreign people, like I think not many, every friends had bullying like don't be here, you are not like same as us, you are not good for living here, go to your Russia, I don't know. But when everybody grown up, they wanted to be like me. Like they began to color your hair in more light colors. But I like, no, I won't be friends with you.
Oh, so they used to bully you when you were a kid, but so now when you're grown up, they're suddenly like, trying to be friends.
Let's take a photo to Instagram together and like, no.
Okay, since you mentioned good experiences, have you had a culture shock?
Okay, so we were surprised with how clean, we travel a lot, how this has been probably the cleanest city we've ever been to.
And this is definitely the cleanest city by far.
Very clean. And there's no trash cans, so we were very shocked. It's like, how are people so clean? Yeah.
Since you mentioned you've been traveling to a lot of places, what gave you like the, oh my God, this is Japan, like culture shock specific here, apart from it being clean? Was there anything funny that happened?
When we went to where the Pokemon Cafe is, that big mall, that they had the elevator people and they were so well dressed with the gloves.
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
we don't have that.
What? We do not have that. We push our own elevator buttons.
Yeah.
But it was such an elegant, I feel like I was transporting back from like 1950s or what I imagine 1950s would be.
Yeah, it was very elegant.
Can you explain the elevator people to people who haven't seen them yet?
Yeah, I just think of it like a fancy hotel, but it's a mall. So they just come out and they're like, does anybody need to get on? They're dressed obviously like in the whole getup, and then there's two people in the elevator. They close it with the gate.
The gloves, the hat.
on, and then they just push the buttons for you.
Do you need that?
No, but it was nice.
It's just nice.
It was nice that they did it. I was like, okay, that's cool.
It feels very high end. It feels like wow, like transporting back in time. That's what it.
Other culture shock is you guys all have heated toilets and we don't. That's not just in hotels, in public restrooms. All the toilets are heated. We have never seen a heated toilet like that. So it was, and toilets with bidets, like with the water, that doesn't exist.
The priority seating.
Yes.
With the old people and elder and like disabled people and and on the trains that they had that section that you don't see that.
You don't have that?
No, we don't have priority seating.
What do you do when older people get on the train?
You hope that
There's like a
someone's nice
handicap.
and gets up for you, but
There's handicap, but that doesn't count elderly or if you're
if
pregnant.
you're pregnant, there's no pregnant seating. Like in the US, there's no like area or like oh, if you're with a child, no.
Where are you guys from?
I'm from Washington, D.C.
And I'm from Virginia, Richmond, Virginia.
Visiting or staying?
Visiting.
I wish I could stay. Yeah.
Japan already caught your heart?
Yeah, I love the trains. It's so clean. I've been living in San Francisco for the past year or so. So it's like a good kind of culture shock. It's amazing. Yeah.
That's exactly our topic today. We're asking everyone what is their culture shock. So anything that really surprised you here.
I thought it was really quiet on the train, and that was kind of shocking. There's like 200 people on this train with me, and it's dead quiet.
Yeah.
You mentioned the silence on the train. When did you notice that you were probably the only ones talking on the train?
Well, I was by myself at the time, but I noticed like one other group of like people had just gone off the plane and they were talking, and everyone else was quiet and would kind of look over at them, and that's when I noticed.
Oh, you picked it up way before them?
Yeah.
It's just interesting because I feel like there's no one saying anything, but you kind of get the vibe of like being on the escalator, you're supposed to be on the left. Everyone queues to the left, right? And then like being on the train, like you just like no one else is talking. You're like, maybe I shouldn't talk as much. Whereas like in San Francisco, when you're on the train, you hear people like playing music, they're dancing, they're like just doing like way too much. Yeah. Or smoking or like, yeah.
It's quite a change. And anything else that kind of like surprised you anything maybe crazy that happened during your trip?
We just arrived yesterday. I think what was weird was I didn't know they were like all these really handsome guys. We're staying in Shinjuku and there's like these posters for these handsome dudes and then like all these guys like walking around looking really nice, and I guess those are host clubs. We don't have those. Like the idea, it's just very different. It's interesting. Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that situation, because I find it really funny?
It's a club as far as I can tell. Like you go and you pay to like drink with like handsome guys or whatever, but like maybe as an American I'm like, wow, I spend money on that, you know. But like it's just interesting to see like that's their hot guy, and we have like Magic Mike back in the States, which is just like these ripped like shirtless like, you know, and here you have these like very like well-spoken like nicely dressed guys who don't have beards or anything like that. Yeah.
And they all have like kind of a certain hairstyle, right?
Yeah, it's like this like, or like pink hair, like blonde hair, but like they look like they're about to do a music video. And it just feels like weird to me because I'm like, I just like can't imagine having a conversation with that person and being like, oh, this is like normal, you know? Like I was just like, yeah, maybe, I mean, I'm not into it, but yeah, it's cool. I guess they have host clubs for women too as well, like those idol clubs or whatever, but it's interesting. Yeah.
Did like when you were at the station, were there like some actual of those overly stylized dudes at the station as well?
Yeah, and it was like groups of them, which is what I thought was like super. I thought like I was going. I was like, I saw like 4 different groups, and I was like, am I supposed to be done up like that or something? But like it was interesting, and they like would have like some woman walking in front of them, like leading them, and they would just like be like walking around, just like, you know.
Stepped out of the airport, went to the restroom, and they had a privacy sound, like would play sound for privacy's sake. I thought that was so neat. I'd never seen that.
Would you want to have that in the US?
Absolutely.
What is the privacy? What was your privacy sound?
Rainfall.
Rainfall, okay.
Interesting. Interesting for a bathroom, but...
Did it automatically start the moment you sat down, or did you have to push a button?
I had to push a button.
You already were prepared, though. You're like, let's push a button. Did you push a wrong button?
No, thankfully I had the Google Translate on my phone. I was just pointing at everything.
What was your culture shock moment?
I was just completely starstruck by like all the architecture and how well everything's made.
Architecture, okay, elaborate.
Oh, it was just down from the sidewalks, like manhole covers. They're not just there; they're every last city has a different decorative one. Every sidewalk seems to be a different brick or a different tile. Just every building uniquely designed. Nothing's the same. It's just everything's completely done well and individually.
Did you see like a really interesting manhole cover then?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, like all of them. There was a couple like toward Mount Fuji that were really nice, and they were like colored in as well.
Oh, you are bound to find something that you have never seen anywhere else, but you can only find here in Japan. We have done a couple of videos about the craziest locations in Japan as well, so be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already for more information about Japan, and check out this video here next, because we're about to rock your world with more Japan facts and stuff here from Japan. Thanks so much for hanging out, and this was Kathy Cat.